When I was 36 years old, I was at the apex of my life, or so I thought. I had everything I ever thought I wanted: an unbelievable career, a high-profile job working for one of the largest sports companies in the world, a fairy tale relationship, an amazing sprawling apartment on the Las Vegas Strip. I was living a lifestyle people would dream about, attending parties with A-list celebrities and athletes, flying around the world in private jets. I had succeeded with financial security and created a place of solid net worth. This was a huge success from how I grew up. Well, at this pinnacle point in my life, the next best thing happened. On Christmas morning, while on the beach in the Bahamas, wearing a bikini and a Santa hat, my boyfriend proposed to me. He asked me to marry him. I was so happy. And as he slid that beautiful ring onto my finger, I said yes. We went on to celebrate our future at a gorgeous dinner in the sand. I noticed something was off with him, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I just dismissed it. What could possibly be wrong in this moment? I got up to use the ladies' room, and when I returned, he wasn't at the table. I couldn't find him anywhere. On that one specific holiday, in that one specific moment, something happened that completely changed the trajectory of my life as I knew it. I walked into the suite in the luxury resort that we were staying in to find that my fiancé had killed himself. He had hung himself from the sheets that we had slept in the night before. In that exact moment, my entire world collapsed. Everything had been completely ripped away from me. Everything I had was gone. Everything I was gone. Everything I used to define myself was gone. I had nothing. I was nothing. I was in catastrophic shock. I was alone. I was terrified. In a matter of mere seconds, I was completely destroyed. I couldn't understand what was going on. Nothing made sense. I had seen death. In this exact moment, everything was my fault. I completely blamed myself for everything. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was unable to live further than one day at a time. I couldn't feel this pain anymore. I instantly became suicidal. I was trapped in my own mind. I was trapped in a PTSD loop that wouldn't turn off. It was a plasma screen that was replaying the event all day and all night in high definition, nonstop, all day, all night. I saw death. From that moment on, I wasn't in control. I couldn't control my mind. I couldn't control my body. I felt like I was broken, useless, worthless. Everything I used to define my self-worth was gone. I was nothing. Maybe I had been nothing the entire time. Maybe I was pretending to be something else. Maybe I was a fake, a fraud. I didn't deserve this life. I didn't deserve to be at this level of success. Who the hell did I think I was? All of the things that I had, my career, my apartment, my financial security, my body, my mind, were the only things that I used to define me, and they were gone. It all came crumbling to the ground. The world that I had built, the life that I had created, the future that I had said yes to was gone. So what was I? I was encumbered with this intense feeling of shame, of imposter syndrome. I was a fake, a fraud. I was paralyzed with fear. Consciously, I didn't even realize it was fear. I just felt paralyzed. I couldn't move. I felt like people could see my brokenness. They could see the real scared me. The mask had been removed. The mask that I had created to prove my value was gone, to prove that I was worthy of love was gone, and I was standing there naked, and I couldn't hide. It was at this moment, this depth of hell I was living in, this fire, that I had a realization. The realization that I had no purpose. I had no intention with my life, no purpose. I didn't know what I was doing here or why I was here. I was burning in a fire of fear, of regret and shame. And it became crystal clear to me that what I was doing with my life was not working. Shame has been talked about for decades now, but have we looked at shame from the perspective of a toolbox? A toolbox that we've been given since we were a child. A toolbox that had already been filled by our mothers or our fathers or other influencers in our life. We carry these tools around with us our entire lives, not realizing or acknowledging them. We usually don't want to address these tools until we hit rock bottom. It is during this time that we can slowly peel off the labels that have been put on by our parents and put new ones on, ones that are uniquely our own. That power rests in our choices, the choice of our perspective. We can choose to be a victim of our circumstance, or we can choose to overcome, to be the creator of a new toolbox. The shame that you carry can actually become your greatest superpower. Your self-worth is not based on your circumstances. It is based on the gifts that you bring to the world each and every day. I had to make a choice. I had to make a hard choice. What did I want? Did I want this thing to bury me? Did I want this thing to cripple my life? Was this going to be my crutch? Was I going to hide behind this? Was it going to be the reason I didn't live? The reason I took my own life? Did I want this to be my story? Was I actually going to allow this? No. Hell no. How many of you are hiding behind something that's happened to you? How many of you are carrying around your own toolbox of shame, allowing something or someone to narrate your future? I can't because insert excuse here. This wasn't it. This wasn't going to be the way that I went down. I just knew inside my gut, hell no. I wasn't going out like this. I was going to use this to become a better version of myself. I was going to somehow use this to catapult my life. I didn't know how, and I didn't care. But I was going to fight it within myself the entire way. I would take 3 steps forward. I would get knocked down 10. Growth, then suicidal thoughts. Growth, then I would push it away. Simple became impossible. We can't ever do things the easy way, can we? I had to do the work. I had to sit in this tumultuous fire and do the work. I had to burn. I had to go all the way in on my shame. It was painful. It was excruciating. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. It was even harder than untying the noose from my fiance's neck. And in that process of that pain, I wanted out. I wanted to cave. I wanted to resist and avoid and use excuses and push it all away. I wanted to numb it. And I did. I did all of it. But I came back to it and I dug deeper. This wasn't going to be my story. This wasn't going to be how I went down. Hell no. We are all born with these specific tools in our familial toolbox, and no one teaches us how to build or use them in a way that meets our own needs. We usually figure it out later in life, most often from not dealing with our childhood traumas. Here I was, burning in this fire of this suicide, playing with broken tools, searching for anything, broken examples of how to handle this. And so I had more work to do. Let's just jump right into those childhood traumas. Might as well. Everything powerful and positive in our lives is rooted in self-worth. This is what fills our cup with joy and fulfillment. Many of us grew up with challenging childhoods that didn't fill our childhood with anything but fear and misdirection. As we evolve and get older, we see that no one can validate our self-worth more than ourselves. But how can we do that when generational shame keeps us anchored at the bottom of this large traumatic ocean? Shame is one of those states of being we attempt to cover or mask, believing we are hiding it from the world. We are less likely to broadcast our shame. In fact, we will most likely conceal what we feel, because shame does not make a distinction between actions and the self. With shame, bad behavior is not separate or separated from bad self. It informs you of an internal state of inadequacy. I created a mask so no one could see the real shame I had been holding on to so tightly. I created a mask so no one could see the real shame I had been carrying around my entire life. And now, in this moment of destruction, that mask was gone. I had a moment in my first day of therapy. I just knew in my gut this wasn't going to be my story. Even though I jumped back and forth between suicidal thoughts and growth, I just knew deep down there was more for me. That was the moment of impact. The realization, in order for me to live, in order for me to overcome, I had to have some very serious realizations on what was actually happening in my life. All of it, not just the suicide. I had to give myself permission to invest in myself. I had to make the choice to bet on me over and over again. We spend so much time investing in other people and their goals and their career and their pain and their fear. I would make other people's problems more important than mine. I could be the best version of me for everybody else except myself. Now was the time I had to take full ownership of making me a priority in my own growth, in my own goals, in my own work. That was the only way I could be the best for others. It had to start with me. How many times have you prevented yourself from giving yourself permission? Investing in myself was the best choice I've ever made. Most of us live a life out of fear disguised as practicality. We are the only ones getting in our own way. We are the only ones stopping us from fulfilling our potential, for reaching out and fulfilling our biggest dreams. We are the only ones preventing us from being the greatest versions of ourselves. It is only in our insecurities. It is only in our shame, in the toolbox we have been given. It is only in our disbeliefs, the belief of what we think we deserve. That is what gets in the way of what we can achieve. These things that were handed down to us can in turn become what propels us forward. It is within the work with this shame that we can convert them into our greatest superpower. I had to learn to release control of what I thought was supposed to happen, the life I thought I was supposed to have, the future I thought I was going to be living, and be able to surrender to whatever did happen and realize the gift of the current life that I was actually living. Letting go of what other people thought I was supposed to be doing. Letting go of what others thought I should be wearing. I had to stop seeking outward and start searching inward for the answers to the questions I had been looking for. I had been seeking validation from others to define my value. We all know the answers to the questions that we seek from others to provide for us, for the validation, for the love we are looking to receive. Everything we search for is in us. It is when we believe we are worthy of receiving it. When we are worthy of receiving it. It is when we believe we are enough on our own, no matter what. We are enough. It is when we believe we are enough that we start to trust our own instincts, our own answers. We begin to align with the person we truly are, loving the authentic version of that person, not the person we're supposed to be for others. That is when we find the answers from within. That is when all of our dreams come true. When you believe in yourself, it will happen for you. Make sure you have a definition of purpose. You are seeking answers you already have within you. You are the only person stopping you from your greatness. Commit to you. Do the work on yourself. Know your worth and do not settle for anything less than that. Do not back down from what you deserve under any circumstances. We have one shot at this life, and you deserve an extraordinary one.